Hi, I'm Brian Moatz, and I'd like to share some thoughts about the Gospel and lesson readings for this coming Sunday, July 2nd. The welcome of baptism is for all of God's children. The baptismal gift sets us free from the power of sin and death. In today's Gospel, Christ promises that the disciple who gives the cup of cold water to the little ones serves Christ himself. From worship, we are sent on our baptismal mission to serve the little ones of this world and to be a sign of God's merciful welcome. Three of the most common causes of insecurity are recent failure or rejection, perfectionism, and social anxiety. In Jeremiah, we encounter a community that knows its failures well and has come at times feel far removed from God. In Paul's letter to the Romans, sin and the need to be good enough come to the forefront. The gospel lifts up the disciples' fear of not being welcomed. In each scenario, insecurities come into play. These texts offer opportunities to delve into our individual and congregational insecurities and explore how peace, grace, hospitality, and God's transforming presence might move us forward in living fully as people of God. First reading is from Jeremiah chapter 28, verses 5 to 9. The prophets and leaders in the book of Jeremiah are longing to see the items stolen from their temple returned, a reunited community, and a land at peace. The previous prophets prophesied warfare and destruction as they watched the lack of care for those living on the margins, the abuse of power, and the fraying of society. Now there is a longing for a prophet who will proclaim peace, and more importantly, that this peace will come to fruition. Many countries today, the United States included, have seen the fraying of society, the rising tempers directed toward the other, and a lack of care for those on the margins. With the clarion call for peace from Jeremiah and the gospel directive of being sent to encounter the other, we are emboldened to envision what is still possible when all are at home, a community is renewed, and peace made known. And the second reading comes from Romans 6, chapter 6, verses 12 to 23. Paul takes the power of evil with utter seriousness when he describes our lives as being enslaved to sin. Sin is an enslaving power which motivates us to live self-serving, disobedient lives. Sin's final payoff is death. We, however, have been set free from sin's slavery to live obediently under God's grace, whose end is the free gift of eternal life. The gospel comes from Matthew 10, verses 40 to 42. In this section of the Gospel of Matthew, the apostles are offered words of encouragement as they prepare to proclaim the gospel in new communities. They are assured that they will be welcomed, and that all who welcome them will receive a reward. All guests who present themselves are to be welcomed as Christ. In a welcoming community, the community that welcomes is blessed by the guest, and the guest in turn is blessed receiving care and hospitality. Consider this thought this week. Each day, think about whom you can welcome with a cup of cold water. Be blessed.